This is the Coin It Podcast, sponsored by CoinCosmo.com. Have fun like a collector. Think like an investor. Whether you're just a hobbyist or looking for an alternative investment with rare coins, paper money, NFTs, or art, your host, Charles Jonath, is covering it all. Now your host, Charles Jonath.
So we have Christian Hartch here from Treasure Town. He's a coin collector, a dealer now, I believe, and also a YouTuber of coins, which is awesome. I love what he's doing online. Obviously, I've seen his YouTube videos, which I enjoy very much. And this is all really while being a student at Princeton right now. When we initially started to put this thing together, I know you were in the middle of your finals. Like, how did that wind up going?
Yeah, it was great. I managed to get through it and appreciated you having me on, but at a better time. So I was able to pull things together, focus, and then be excited about coins, after that. So thanks for having me on today. I think it's a great podcast and sort of thing that you're doing, and appreciate the flexibility.
Thank you. No, for sure. Of course. Like, it was just, I knew it was only a matter of time we'd make it happen. But I love what you're doing, man. It's really awesome to see like someone who's out there, who's active, who worked in a coin shop for a period of time and is making these videos, trying to educate the public, not only about collecting, but how to navigate the whole system of coins, the whole ecosystem. That's what I really like, that aspect of your channel too. And obviously we're going to put links and stuff in there. So, but how did you get into all this, man? Like, what was, did you start collecting and then wound up at a coin shop? How did that all happen?
For sure. So started out really young, probably doing like Whitman penny folders, sort of the classic. I think my dad, who I have a lot of fun, look up to him. He thought it'd be a good way to bond, like searching through some penny rolls, because he would do that when he was a kid. And so the classic start. Then maybe I was 13 and I saw an ad in the paper that there was a coin shop coming into town. So that's the Happy Coin in Connecticut. And I was their first customer. We showed up right on the first day. And then a year later, I became their first intern or, summer employee, and would do that in the summers and weekends, and figured, hey, I always thought that doing a YouTube channel would be cool, and there's not a ton of people putting out the content. So that's why I think it's great for you. And it felt like it was wide open. So I sort of did that, and then have from there continued on. I'm currently an intern at Heritage Auctions, have worked with a variety of other coin businesses and auction houses and different things, and probably spent a lot more time doing dealing stuff, both immediately before and at Heritage, but still try to bring the sort of collecting and stay fresh and stay, with like not innocent, but not like a jaded personality in terms of getting excited about coins.
No, yeah. I mean, you have to think from that perspective, from the other side of the aisle too, just understand collectors and collecting mentality. It helps if you collected or try to collect too. And then you came from a collecting background. So I think it's really an organic process, but that's awesome, man. How are you liking your summer job at Heritage?
It's been great. I get to see a lot of cool coins, and they've been wonderful. So I think I'm impressed with their business, and I think they've got good runway for the future. But yeah, I can't speak highly enough of the team there, and very kind people. And so they've been generous to have me down. That's
so cool, man. Yeah, they're great. And obviously a lot of people are customers of Heritage. We're all, trying to buy coins, and then a lot of dealers actually deal with them and consign stuff to them in auctions and stuff like that too, as well as collectors. What are you doing exactly over there? What do they have you doing?
Yeah, it's a lot of helping. The VP of numismatics, name is Jim Stouchesteik, but he's got a lot on his plate, so try to help there. And I'm generally in the wholesale coins area, and
nice.
Yeah, sort of helping out where I can.
How do you like that, the wholesale side of things?
I think it's fascinating. It's a little bit different from certainly retail versus wholesale and different clients, but it's great to see. And I think it always matters how the people are too, and they've been great.
That's awesome, man. Do they have you doing the shows, or are you just You're
No,
just
I
manning
haven't
the
been.
emails and calls and stuff like that from the
Yeah, a fair
list.
amount of that, and then a fair amount of helping process the coins. So get to see a bunch of cool stuff. I feel bad, but
Yeah.
I don't want to like. Not that they have any secrets that I really know, but I don't want to inadvertently spoil anything. But
No,
I think
yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, it's often they'll get a big collection, and so I'll help be part of the consignment process. So that might be, writing up a sheet if somebody consigns to Heritage. They'll take an inventory of what you have. Maybe it's looking at coins, helping grade some stuff. But there's, sort of all the behind the scenes sort of coin stuff that you could think of, and a little bit of
Yeah.
client facing.
You're in the mix over there, with the big boys. How do you find that in contrast to being in a local coin shop? It's a different world, right?
For sure. No, you see a much different side of things, which is always fun. I always think it's cool to go seek out new experiences. So get to learn a bunch from all types of perspectives. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there are any. The big contrast is, right, it's not like people will walk in and come and sell you coins, or not too often. And it's a much bigger, a lot of people who are really good at what they do, and they have different specialties. And so they'll do that specialty over and over again. And so that's maybe a little bit, as opposed to being a total jack of all trades, where you're doing, you're everything. The customer walks in the door, you've had to schedule that. You have to keep your shop looking pretty aesthetically, and doing the marketing, and doing the, writing the check, and doing inventory control and safety and all that sort of thing.
Right.
So, yeah, it's cool to see both sides.
Yeah, for sure. What do you like better, you think?
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to get back to you at the end of the
Yeah.
8 weeks. Yeah. But I certainly have fun doing the YouTube as well, which is sort of something that very few, I, maybe a few other people are doing, but that doesn't really fit into most coin shops or most. Well, Heritage has a cool channel, and they've got some neat state of the market and market update stuff.
They do. Yeah, we had Roxana from Heritage on the podcast talking about world coins and stuff. They got a great staff at Heritage. I really like those guys, man. So
yeah, no, I feel anybody you work with, I actually consigned once with Roxana, and she did a great job. And it's not that I know her super well, but I think that they pick good people, or at least the people around me.
No, definitely, man. Definitely. Well, I don't know. What do you think your future is going to be in coins? You think you want to do this for a career? I mean, you're at a great school. What is your major exactly over there?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. Something I've been thinking about a lot, because I think coins is very exciting. I'm currently an econ major, and I think there's, I think my career path will either be on the finance side, in an investing capacity, or in private equity. I don't think I'm going to do investment banking, or some of the other go right to a hedge fund, that sort of thing. And then the alternative would be to do coins.
I mean, ideally, it's if you're going to be in that industry, it depends on like the personality I think you have too, but it's always better to be on buy side if you can. It's hard to start there.
Exactly. No, that's my. I'm going to start. I'll do an internship, I think, next summer on the buy side, so that'll be cool to.
That's great.
Check out.
There's a lot of parallels.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. I don't know what you think. There's not a ton of people in both sides from a business perspective, because there's not too many publicly owned companies. I think it's cool to see Point72 come in and take control of collectors with Nat Turner. Same thing with Blackstone.
Interesting, right?
NGC. What do you think? How do you see that? And
I think it's some validation, because Steve Cohen, these guys are, they're great at what they do. And if anything, I'm sure they got a great team that did a lot of analysis, a lot of research into the industries, also the economics of the individual companies. So I think it's validation for our industry that there's a lot of growth potential there. As to where they're thinking it's going to be more from collectibles in general or coins specifically, that I'm not sure. I don't think us, the public, were privy to that. But it's interesting. It's validation, man. It's validation for the world of collectibles in general. And I see a big future in it as well. I just think from an economic perspective, and maybe you could shed some light on this, that the way things are going with traditional markets, it's kind of hard. Like, I think even the Fed now is having a tough time using older models in a modern system. Keynesianism worked really well, but now due to globalization, it's made things a lot more difficult to control with the rising and lowering interest rates, like to control the monetary system like they used to be able to. There's a lot of things going on. The economy is becoming more complex, I think, and eventually down the line, alternative investments are going to have to be a part of someone's portfolio, because look at the market now. Is there really a retail bond market anymore? If they jack up rates, like maybe, I don't know, maybe the 10-year does go. I think if the 10-year goes to 5 to 6% again, now we're talking maybe, a lot of people will flee the market, then go back to flight to quality, because, big money for treasuries, that if you could get treasuries at 5%, it's really good, right? Especially compared to what we've been used to.
Yeah, no, it's definitely at school. It's all Keynesian stuff, and I've always been interested in sort of classics and especially Austrian economics. But I don't know exactly the best way and what's going to go on there. But I think people certainly are looking for value, and I'm pretty sure maybe the bonds was the first time they got crushed in like a pretty big down market. So I think what you're saying about new models, I don't know the answers, but it's fun to be on top of. And I think we've seen a surprisingly strong maybe coin market sort of through that equities pullback, at least, where maybe coins are a touch off their significant highs, but they've been still trading strong. So I never know what to say about that.
No, it's interesting. I don't know. I'm trying to, I buy out of auction too, and as well as buy from private collectors. But when I do attend the auctions and stuff like that, it's hard to get a complete sense because there's a lot of actually over the phone buying and internet buying, obviously. But when I'm attending these, it seems to be very collector driven. I'm not seeing people that are coming like from the outside that aren't collectors, or dealers that need to buy something high end to inventory it, or they're bidding on behalf of a client who's a collector. I'm not seeing people from the outside like trying to come in and just speculate, buy random things, unless they're doing it on the internet. That I don't know. But I talked to Greg Cohen about this at Legend, and he was saying he's seen some crypto guys that were coming into the market buying, but not a big percentage. It was like one here or there. Yeah,
no, they were probably smart to have done that, but I don't know. I'm weighted more towards coins than the crypto stuff. But
yeah, me too, obviously.
yeah, I'm sort of aligned with what I say. But I feel like the worst thing to do is go on YouTube and the internet and bash crypto.
Right. No.
Been struggling. So I'm going to not make a comment on that one.
Yeah, well, it's a whole other world. There's a lot of merit to that stuff, though. I think I like the technology. I think it's really interesting as to what cryptocurrency is going to be the end all be all. That I don't know. They have the scalability issues to work out, and then the one I like the most, I think, is Ethereum, but it's still it's too costly to transact. In order to be able to really beat out the bank, you got to be cheap, and efficient.
Yeah, no, it's sort of it's a fun thing to follow, and I like staying up to date on new technologies as much as the old coins that I also enjoy.
Right.
I guess I'm curious what you think. What the better coin investments? It's always tough to advise on investing, but like what type of things you recommend? I have a perspective.
Okay, I'll do that, but then I'm going to ask you the same thing though too. So if you want, I'll go first. But I think it's in the 19th century coinage. Obviously, I like the early American stuff. I think there's great opportunities right now in like the bust half dollars, bust dime. Some of the dimes have gotten really pricey, the bust dimes, but there's still some opportunity in the early American coinage. I believe barber proof coinage is something huge. And then territorials I love. I think those are great places still with room for growth. And I think there's enough there to work with it. You know what I mean? That's kind of the thing when you're dealing with like my clients, I deal with, I play around with margins. I try to make less of a margin so there's room for everybody. it's like a non-zero sum game type strategy where I feel like if you're very fair, everyone wins, because if I'm able to buy at the bid or even sometimes below the bid, I'm not going to sell to them at where the offer is. You know what I mean? I'm going to try and be somewhere in between. And then right away, it gives them an advantage, the end client an advantage, you know? So that little leg up, I mean, in markets, it could be a big deal, you know? And then as time goes on, if you have quality coins that are like really aesthetically pleasing, plus great pieces that have been collected for so long, I think it's hard to go wrong. You're gonna deal with cycles in the market, obviously, but over time, all your money will be there, and I think there's room for you to profit from that, obviously. So,
no, it's pretty aligned with what I would have to say. I think I probably have less knowledge on the YouTube side is often dealing less in like higher end coins, but I think anything with really authentic collectible rarity, like kind of for me, that's avoiding the modern stuff. And then especially going for like upper tier pieces, which maybe have a little less liquidity, but like Texan Hola or like any of the Colonial issues, or, a bar cent or something really rare is sort of what I always think is the coolest stuff, just because they are authentic pieces of history. Connecticut coppers, I still haven't owned one, but I'd love to, because that's my home state.
Awesome coins, man. Yeah. Awesome coins. I love Colonials. I think they're incredibly cool. It's interesting. Like from what I've heard, there were big collectors that were in the Colonials space, but they've kind of, one of them passed away, and then the other ones sort of piecemealed and sold off their collections. So I don't think there's any big collector that's like actively buying in the space. And then with the whole CAC phenomenon that's happened, I think CAC started out doing Colonials, but then a lot of people, they got a lot of complaints, and now I believe they don't do them anymore, if I'm not mistaken. So
that sounds right. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, me neither. But I think so the fact that CAC doesn't sticker Colonials, and then people not quite sure about how to exactly, like, what's a real like XF, pine tree shilling, or what's an AU pine tree shilling, or, there's no real clear guidance on that. And then no big collector that's in the space that's actively trying to build a high end set has made it difficult, but it also presents a lot of opportunities for someone who is really motivated in the space to learn Colonials well and collect these things and buy them probably at a discount to where they could be. If someone really gets excited about it, someone who's a bigger money guy comes in and says, what I want to build, this is just my interest, I want to build an incredible collection of Colonials. That could be the spark that sort of ignites a whole, slew of people coming in, stepping into Colonials again. So.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating. I'm not somebody to be able to, share a bunch of knowledge about it, but in hand, I often feel like they're some of the coolest things to look at, like a pleasing, nice brown looking Colonial coin.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the history too, man. That's the thing. Like I had a Colonial, a really nice one. It was like, I put it in someone's hand. I'm like, that's pilgrim money. And they were freaked out. They're like, what? Yeah. No, it's not. No, the pilgrims made their own money. I'm like, yeah, they did.
Yeah. No, it's, and it also brings me back to like some of the world stuff. When you look at pre-33 gold is awesome, but premiums are pretty off the charts. And then if you look at like, the bust series, you can buy like Napoleon 40 francs for not much over their gold value. And I would argue the historical value is maybe comparable or greater on the other side, less rare, but there's just cool, there's really cool things out there, and world has, I think, been strong recently, but still way discounted compared to the US stuff.
I agree. A lot of opportunities there. I mean, what do you like the best out of all this stuff? Do you want to focus more on studying Colonials, or do you want to like do foreign, or do you have one particular series or anything that like you like the best?
I always get excited about learning anything about coins, and especially sharing it with people in a way I think that people are going to get excited about things. So I've been considering, the unfortunate thing I think about doing YouTube is that often I have to think about what people want to watch as opposed to what I want to make, because I find a lot of the better viewed videos often are way easier to make and maybe a little more formulaic or a little more, I know that more people are going to be interested in it, but then sometimes I'll put a ton of effort into a video that is on a very specialized topic, or I do a lot more research and it really flops. So when the algorithm is dictating, that gives a lot of feedback, and I want to reach as many people as possible. But I filmed a few intros recently to do some, of this colonial type or early American non-official circulating coinage, but whether it's like the territorial stuff, I think that would be fun to learn more about, because, I tell people I often learn something, in the 1 to 2 hours before I film the video, and then it sticks with me for months or years or forever. So, that's probably what I have the interest in it, but from a market perspective, it's probably better for me to cultivate knowledge in US coins, but I'm interested in all of it.
That's cool, man. No, I mean, and it forces you to kind of sit down and really absorb the material too, because now you have motivation, like I got to produce this video or whatever.
Yeah, totally. And also sort of seeking out experts or people who really have done it. It's sort of a challenge when I talk to somebody. Like, I've been having a lot of fun doing show and tell videos where it's just like me, somebody next to me, cameras on the coins, we're filming, and I'm literally learning from the person next to me, asking questions from a beginner collector perspective. Maybe I'll chime in with an opinion or two, but it's really, I get to learn, and we just record that process so other people can do it. And that's something I have a ton of fun with. Probably my favorite thing to do right now as it relates to YouTube, maybe outside of being on this podcast.
Nice, man. So you plan on doing a lot more videos, or you want to keep growing the channel?
Yeah, I think it's,
you're doing great, man. You're like killing it. I think, you got over 100,000 subscribers, right? Or
I think so. I think, I always want to get my view counts up, because they're, normally maybe 1,500 views on a video, but I think it goes back to like that being a provider of information means that not everybody is going to be super hyped up for every next video that I make. And I also hit a lot of topics, but I think it's, sort of an archive too of what I hope and try to make good, fun content that doesn't need to be watched the minute it comes out, and can be more evergreen. So I think I want to keep going on the YouTube front. I think like it is good for business and growing a client base, but it's also just like, I enjoy watching YouTubers in coins, but often not in coins. And it's like cool for every niche to have people who are dedicated to serving that from a content production standpoint. I think it's grossly underdone for coins and would help the industry a lot if there were more people doing it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, that's why I'm trying to dedicate the time to do this. The way I look at it is it's like, it's a repository in a different medium. Sometimes like people don't want to sit down. Like I love books. I'm a book junkie, so I'll sit down and read a lot. But for people that don't like it, I know, like I have people that, I see they're just not into it, but they'll watch a video. So it's just another medium, and it acts like a repository. So if we put out like good information about coins and stuff like that, they could have that there and then study. And then ultimately, there's a lot of, they can consume content and get educated about the subject.
For sure. And I think it also it helps collectors, but I think people might not realize, especially as it relates to people my age or younger. Most of my viewers are much older than I am, but some of the dealers that I've run into who are younger than me and doing way more volume and profit than I am, or probably and transacting much nicer coins, have mentioned that, when they were really beginner collectors, they would watch a bunch of my videos and get inspired, and, they'll tune in for certain of my videos these days.
Awesome.
But it's a good stepping stone. And I think there's just like a lot of, the health of the hobby is going to be definitely supported by a strong network of coin dealers, vest pocket coin dealers, people who are on the business side in addition to the collecting side. So I think YouTube content that's building up at almost every level.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. And, I was just talking about this too, the other day. Like, I don't know. I feel like now, because of social media, it's a good tool to have a lot of, there's a community, it seems like, that's happening, like in different microcosms, like amongst different types of rare coin collectors amongst, you know, the stackers are huge, you know, especially on Instagram. And there's tons of that stuff. And then the stuff like a lot of what you do, like the more modern guys, like the treasure hunters that go and buy like, you know, larger lots and then comb through stuff or go to coin shops and try and buy stuff. I mean, there's so many different little niches in coins, which is cool too.
For sure. Absolutely. Like the relationships, you know, you know, probably going to be out in California once my internship is over, and I was not doing coin business, but now I'm going to like turn it into a half coin strip and just spend time with people that I've met and who I'll call and not talk about coins, let's just hang out, but meet through coins. I think it's yeah, it goes way beyond just the little pieces of metal
definitely,
that we
for sure.
are interested in.
Definitely. Well, if you come to Vegas, you gotta hit me up then.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I haven't run a Vegas trip ever, so yeah, that will make it happen. I'm gonna probably have to hold onto my wallet tightly and
I know,
make sure I don't lose too much in the casino.
Avoid the casino. I don't gamble, so it's easy for me.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, we can hold each other to that and do Vegas. Probably have just as much fun without you know, giving away our money.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
So I noticed like modern coins seems to be a big thing online. I know you encounter a lot of modern stuff, and then you have a Reddit too, right? Where you actively look for errors and misprints and stuff in a lot of the modern coins.
Yeah.
I'm so ignorant to that stuff. But I get calls about it all the time. People want to know if they have like, you know, something rare or anything like that. Obviously, we get all that, but I know nothing about it. So like, educate me. What's the cool modern stuff now that everyone's looking for?
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's like another example where it's not a ton of value. Often there's a few really high profile things, but people are looking for varieties, die varieties, like a double die coin where, you know, the dies that are then produced and strike the coins, they've been, you know, have doubling. There's like 9 different types of it, but then those will be on every coin they stamp. So it's not a double punch. There's also mint errors, of course, where, you know, it's not the dies, but it's like the production process of making the coins, whether it's punching out the planchet, you know, and how they're struck, and what's going on there. Now, a lot of people unfortunately watch my videos and then, well, I like to think that some of the other people, because at least, especially today, I'm trying to focus on explaining that this is not on every coin, and that, you know, there's a lot of post-mint damage instead of you know, the authentic error coin. Because I'm certainly inundated, as I think a lot of coin people are, with messages saying that they found the key errors or major varieties, and I've found some cool varieties and found some errors. Never anything above like $150 or $200 myself, but these days I think I don't spend as much time looking through and going for them. But I know some viewers of mine who have found, you know, low $1,000 coins. Never, you know, any of the highlight ones. I think some of the coolest is like mules, where it's like 2 different dies. Say the well-known one is a quarter obverse die and a Sacagawea reverse die, and struck on Sacagawea planchets. Some of the other big ones, no S coins. One of my viewers found a dime, I think from 1983, where they omitted the S mint marks.
Right. The proof, what you mean?
Exactly. And then the problem is, a lot of people, even though I clearly say it's a proof, or maybe other people in their videos, then everybody comes up with, you know, 1983. I don't think, you know, I think the dimes have P mint marks at that point. I think 1982, no P there. They actually did omit or have a weak strike on some of the P mint Roosevelt dimes, but everybody just thinks whatever, no mint mark. I think the bicentennial Eisenhower dollar, classic example, where there's like one known that's had 7-figure offers for it that was a genuine proof strike without the S, complete error, but there were, you know, millions of business strike ones made. So that's probably what clogs up most of your and other coin dealers inbox with people who think they've got, you know,
it's everything. Well, that in I think there's someone saying they're like a 2000 Sacagawea dollar, the bold, I guess there's a bold tail feather one, right?
Yeah, I want to say, is that the Cheerios? I purchased one of the Wounded Eagle, where there's like in the die, there's like a little nick, but it looks like, you know, maybe a spear or something. There's like a speared bison, I know.
Oh, really? That's okay.
Yeah, but I think the Cheerios dollar, I could be way wrong on this. I think Cheerios would include like a Cheerios branded penny in some of their cereal boxes. And then it was much rarer for them to put a Sacagawea dollar coin. And I think the dies were slightly different on those coins. That could be completely wrong, but I think those dollars are then the very rare Cheerios Sacagawea dollars.
What are they worth? Are they like expensive or?
No idea. That's the sort of thing I forget after I make a video, but I would think maybe like $300 or $400. I can check for comps.
Yeah, then it can't be that one because it was one I looked up. It was like a Sacagawea. It was a 2000p, but it had like bold tail feathers, and they were saying on the Red Book said it was like 3,000 or whatever.
Okay, it definitely could be that then. That could reflect my lack of knowledge on the subject.
I completely forgot too. I have to look it up, but I know there's stuff out there that's like more modern. I don't focus. It's not my, expertise. You can't know everything,
Yeah. And I think it's, maybe more accessible for people who are looking for a really low cost way to look at coins and have no downside. If you're searching modern stuff for, 1984 double die, with a doubled ear, there's 1995. It's like a $20 coin, but that stuff turns up. I've done that by pulling it out of penny boxes. It's it's great again with those niches that you were mentioning before. There's a lot of places to search and have fun with coins. I enjoy collecting like 50-cent world coins that are cool new designs I haven't seen before and have a little bit of history on them. I think it's a mistake to only associate coin collecting with the value aspect too. It's sort of like define what you want to go do and then do it intelligently. So that doesn't,
I agree. Definitely. It's true. And with this modern stuff, I mean, there's got to be guys who are experts like that out there too. Do you know of anyone that's really good with that stuff or?
Well, there's also, I think one aspect is like making top pop coins for registry collectors. If people don't know what that is, it's, they're on the PCGS set registry is really the place where people will compete to, make of the finest known. They're competing on a numerical grading system, trying to get 68s and 69s, and there's different bonuses. And, that's an area of moderns where if somebody has a really good eye, I know a few that have done quite well with that, sort of making, Roosevelt dimes in, late silver ones in 68 plus, that sort of thing. The really, really modern stuff, I'm a little less up to date with the market makers on it, but I think, and the people who are making the coins in the holders, but they definitely exist because there's modern coins that sell for crazy numbers.
Yeah. It's like you said, especially top registry ones.
And that's a game that's where I would say, I don't know how sustainable the people buying that stuff is, because if it's purely a registry thing, there's billions of the coins made or maybe hundreds of millions. And it's more the rarity is in the plastic often there, as opposed to like, the Colonial or the bust dime and $50.
Yeah. Well, if you're, that's the thing. Like if you're a bigger guy who's trying to build a top, type collection of all different kinds, then it affects your score. You want the best one. Sometimes they're willing to compete and go after each other, and these coins get crazy prices. But
yeah, and I think that maybe that's what people want to do, and I think it makes a lot of dealers also. It helps the dealer economy because the dealers who are able to feed that stuff, and it's often not collectors just sending in a good looking coin from their collection, but they're buying it from the people who are grading huge quantities of coins and winning with the economies of scale to do that. But it's not like I know the people who are making every 2000 and I don't know if Alabama's 2002 or 2003, but Alabama State Order and Top Pop. I don't know who's doing that.
I know. Well, it's interesting how they come up with those programs though, but I think it definitely got some younger kids into collecting the whole state quarters thing, because that kind of blew up. I think they did that successfully. It was smart.
Yeah. I'd like to see, I wonder, what do you think the Mint should go out and do? I have some opinions on that. Maybe would be not controversial, but a take on it. What would you do if you're the director of the Mint without a profit incentive, just trying to make cool coins that would drive collecting interest?
It's interesting. I don't know. I think Maybe an update in commemorative coins, but I know they do those, but like maybe more accessible ones. Like every now and then, like you can do once a year, like, you know, how they have all the different state issues. Then they did the national parks, maybe release like a limited edition of the, of a commemorative coin. That's you do once a year, and then release it, mix it into circulation would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get great. People looking for it, you know, like in their change.
Totally. I thought the W quarters was a great program because it was more of the authentic stuff instead of buying it right from the mint or from telemarketers or from the, you know, that sort of thing.
It's little stuff like that. I think it's kind of cool. Like for someone that's getting into coins, and then, you know, especially the younger, the kids, they can comb through the change and find, you know, that unique commemorative or W min mark or whatever it may be.
Totally. No, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah. What? So is that you were gonna say something about? Because I'm curious. You didn't say what you thought about the mint.
Yeah. No, I think it's basically just having commemoratives and other programs that are designed that make it competitive. You know, I don't like the emphasis on like just 70 deep cam proofs all the time coming out of the mint, and that's like, you know, people can get the best. I think it's cool. You know, even the striking technology and the way that they're producing the planchets, like making some of the classic, I think the classic commemoratives are some of the coolest coins that the US has ever made. And so I think striking coins, maybe with older dye technologies, that could be, it might be expensive and, you know, make it 90% silver. And some of them maybe are weakly struck. Not everything coming out has to be so good, and package them with, you know, packaging that might tone. And maybe you could make them really rare. You could also do different denominations, bring back like a 2 or a 3 cent coin, and, you know, maybe put out patterns, and maybe they are auctioned off for charity or different purposes. This stuff isn't the most profit-minded because the mint is a business, but I think that going back to some of what has made classic coin collecting great would be exciting to have today.
No, definitely. Those are great ideas, man. I wonder. It's curious. I'm sure they probably do have planchets that they experimented with that would technically equate to patterns. There's got to be new modern patterns that exist out there.
Yeah, I want to say there was like some sort of Martha Washington thing that happened a little while back. But I mean, even this probably wouldn't fly. But I know that there'd be like presentation pieces given to senators or to, you know, a gift to a foreign president or head of state or something like that. You know, I could see how a lot of people would complain, and I don't know who would get this stuff, but maybe you strike 1,000 commemoratives and send them all to the people who compete for the states in the Olympics. You're just sort of crazy ideas like that. And then it's like, these are actually collectible because they're marketed as collectible maybe to start, but if the striking process isn't the same on every one of them, and then you're sending them to people who they can either hold on to them and they disappear, or they sell them. It's not like, you know, the graders get, you know, 100 or 10,000 of them, send them all in, and then just sell them based off of, you know, one grader or the other.
Yeah. If they're one-offs like that, oh man, that would be crazy though. That would be really interesting.
I think that's a real fantasy of that happening, but, you know, not too practical, but at the same time, I think that sort of
for
stuff
something like the Olympics, you know, it seems plausible for something like Olympians that won gold medals or something like that. But I mean, I don't know if they're that's the thing. Like, I don't know if like they're not as much numismatically minded like we used to be, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe that's what the divorcing of sort of coins and practical forms of money. But, you know, I don't know, you could do a cool portrait of a bunch of past presidents and make it a patriotic looking coin, and you know, just hand it out to, I don't know how many gold medals we won. Maybe there's some teams that did it, but, you know, 50 people or 60 people. And I think that would be a really cool, super collectible thing that a lot of people would want to own. But again, it's just not making the money. But maybe you could
Yeah.
say that would make the money in the long term for the Mint if they continue their current types of commemoratives, and then you have that many more interested collectors. I don't know, just some fun, free spitballing, coin ideas.
It's great ideas. Like from a collector perspective, it's awesome. I think that would be great if the Mint did stuff like that. We'll see. We'll see what they want to do. I don't know. I think the government's got so many problems on their hands. Probably the Mint gets glossed over.
No, and there's probably some legislation that I think there's a lot of legislation going into making of, it's crazy to think this is a cool thing for collectors maybe, but that, you could go and get the Mint to strike you coins if you were friends with the Mint, or sometimes there'd be private strikes, striking $1804 way after the 1804 was up.
Wow.
That would be a scandal if we were striking, pennies with even dated 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. That's a classic coin though, man. The $1804. That's like a dream coin,
Totally.
Everyone dreams of something like that. So what's in your plans for the future now? Yeah,
I'm excited. Going to be at Heritage for I think another maybe 6 weeks or so. And then it's right back to water polo. I'm on the Princeton water polo team. So we're going to be traveling for some preseason and getting serious about that. I had an injury. I had concussion the first season. Then we got canceled by COVID. I was on a gap year at the next. So I got 2 years of eligibility and I'm hoping to get some playing time and block some shots. I'm a goalie. Yeah. So that'll be exciting. And I got actually course credit. I'm going to be working with the accelerator at Princeton in the entrepreneurship department. So a few people are going to be joining my team, and we'll be spending a lot of time working on Treasure Town and that business too. So
awesome. Good for you.
We'll
that's smart. You can integrate the two, you know what I mean? Like get course credit and work on your business at the same time.
It's I was pleased that they accepted me, but I think it'll be cool also to have people, the professors there have basically mostly done well with internet businesses and don't have much numismatic perspective, but they're going to be guiding us and pushing us. They're not just theoretical people who haven't done well themselves. So it'll be cool to have a way different set of eyes, to meet with every week to go over, growth for the business. And beyond just the YouTube. So don't know what that advice is going to look like, but excited.
They give you a lot of good ideas and structure and stuff for just the business perspective. It doesn't sort of, numismatics is like your expertise, but then running a business is a whole other thing. And then having a small business, a startup, something that, these things are designed to have like, high traction, high acceleration. And there's a whole ecosystem to startups, I think, and you got to kind of know how to navigate that, how the system works, who to work with, how to structure these deals. There's a whole learning process to that. So I'm sure you'll go through all that and it's a great experience. And then you could work on Treasure Town too at the same time. It's awesome. I'm glad. Congratulations, by the way, that they accepted you.
Thank you. I think I think a lot of the people applying, well, I don't think this is, but a lot of really good ideas that are probably way more life-changing and world-changing than coins, right? But it wasn't, there's already a revenue generative model that I'm employing as a dealer. So I think that they thought that was cool and figured it was maybe something where there's opportunity, basically.
Right. It's not like, too capital intensive in the beginning, right?
Exactly. Yeah, no, we're not going to need, unless they have really big plans, not going to need funding. I think it'll be.
That's so funny. I wonder how they classify that. Would coins be fintech or what? I don't know.
I think it's probably in its own, just as it's sort of its own pocket of something that broadly resembles something financial, but really isn't. I think when you get down into the details. So
it's not right. Yeah,
I can follow up and tell you.
That would be good. I want to hear about not only the experience, but what they thought, what the professors thought about it, what the managers of the accelerator thought about the industry in general. It'd be, I'm curious to see their analysis, what they think.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, man. Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. And, I hope to see you sometime soon in the future, either at one of these shows or whatever. And then obviously if you ever come out this way, we'll do something for sure.
Awesome, Charles. Thank you so much. Yeah, great to chat. Been enjoying listening to some of the other podcasts you've done in the past, and honored to be on today.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Same. Love your channel, and any way I could support it, you let me know.
Awesome. Same to you, man.
All right. Take care. Have a good one.